Hello guys, my name is Paul Watson and welcome back to my channel once again. And today I'm bringing you guys something brand new. It is the Actrollvision Gran Turismo Sport Red Bull Junior competition, in which I'm entering into week 2 because I wasn't able to enter properly for round 1, but this time fully secured and racing in round 2 this week at probably my favourite track, which is Brands Hatch. So this car is a little bit different to most normal cars that you'll see, as it was developed alongside Adrian Newey and Gran Turismo Sport themselves, which he created a car that has such high downforce. It's really good for learning how to handle high downforce cars. So it's really quite special, really different but interesting to drive, decent top speed, but as you can see, you can really hang in the speed around these corners, like sitting in a almost 110 mile an hour around there, which I reckon you can get it higher. But this here is my first qualifying lap. Ultimately, I didn't really know where I'd sit in this class because I'd never competed in these cars before. I'd never even done a practice race with any of these guys, so I didn't really know what the benchmark would be for me. There's only 11 guys this week in this race. I think a couple of guys maybe missed out, so not the biggest field, but I figured I should be able to hopefully be lower mid pack. That was my aim, is to sit around there. But ultimately, new car, new category, new competitors, and also new rule set, which I'll talk to you later about in the race, led to me being a little bit of like okay, let's take this as a trial run, learn a bit about the competition for this time round, and hopefully learn to adapt it and get my strategies better for future races. So I wasn't too confident going in. But I've got a special announcement. So the car I'm driving is in direct affiliation with a brand that I really like and really like working with, which is Grease Monkey Motors. So we've partnered up to create a custom livery for this car. It's really, really special. I really quite like it. We've gone for a metallic pink with our logos and the Red Bull sponsorship on the side, and you'll be able to see it properly in a couple of seconds. As you can see here, I was able to qualify P7, so 2 seconds off the pace, which is usually where I sit in most competitions, as I'm still learning a lot of my craft as a driver. But really importantly for me, as you can see here is our car. It's a real beauty. I dropped a teaser trailer of it on our Instagram, and I was really excited to get started for our first race. So starting here in P7, I wasn't too sure how I'd do. I got a pretty average start, as you can see in front. The Batman livery car got a really nice start. It's really cool. Some really cool custom liveries in this class, which was a little bit distracting to race against. So I move up nicely into P6, a decent little move, and I figured, okay, I didn't get absolutely swamped as I get hit in the rear here and sent straight into the back of that purple car, which you'll find in GT Sport is the contact physics are almost as bad as, if not worse, than some of the Project Cars physics, as it kind of ragdolls the cars around quite a bit, even if you get the slightest of contact. So there's lots of big issues here as I try to fight and stay in the slipstream, because if anybody knows anything about GT Sport, it's the fact that slipstream is incredibly overpowered and can really make a difference in how fast you do, how fast you go around the lap, for example. But luckily for this class, they lowered down the strength of the slipstream in order to kind of rectify some of the issues that the basic game coding has with it. As usually you can sit, as long as you're 1.7 seconds behind someone, you still get the effect of full slipstream. As I get a much better exit out of this corner than the guy in front of me, I had a look down the inside but figured it's not worth it. It's lap 1 of my first ever race. Don't want to be that guy, and so just sat off and thought I might get a better opportunity. But by doing so and being a little bit hesitant, he was able to get a really great lead out in front of me as someone sends himself to the shadow realm, and I'm able to move up to P5. So unfortunately, one way ticket for that guy is he drops down the field. And at this point, I was thinking, okay, I'm halfway through the grid, I've gained 2 places off the line. This isn't a bad start for me. I figured maybe I could push on, potentially get a podium. I'm 7 seconds off the lead, so obviously that's out of the question at this point because there's no way I was going to cut that down throughout the race. But I figured maybe if I push up, P4, P3 could be on, and I'm still in the slipstream here as I'm within a second. As you can see, the time's closing down rapidly. I gained about 2.5 tenths just from the bridge to that corner just by sitting in the slipstream. But I'm really closing in now, sticking that slipstream. We've saved a whole 5 tenths just by sitting in behind him, and that's the importance of this. Is on GT Sport, a lot of it is just being tactical, biding your time, not pushing too hard, just sitting in the slipstream, letting the game do the work for you, and it will reward you for being a more consistent driver. So that's what I really tried to convey in this race. Is we enter lap 3 and I'm still sat in P5 with a decent gap behind me of over 1.5 seconds. So at this point my confidence was growing and growing and growing. I was thinking I could really push on and make a big difference in this race. The guy in front of me isn't really pulling away. Third place is massively pulling away because unfortunately P4's lost the slipstream to him. But as long as I could just sit in behind him, tuck in, bide my time, I really thought that I might be able to make inroads in this race. As luckily for me, he bins it, but not luckily for me, he didn't hold his brakes, spun right in front of me. I then got a little bit of damage, as you can see in the bottom left there, to my aero on the front and the right suspension. And ultimately, from there on out, I started losing time throughout this race. Could have gone up to P4, but unfortunately lost out on it, as the guy in P4 himself actually runs massively wide there, which made me think, okay, could be in with a shout of a decent performance here. As there's another yellow flag ahead, can't remember who that is. Oh yeah, P3's come off ahead, and at this point I was thinking, okay, P4, podium is only a second and a half in front of me. He's making mistakes. As long as I can keep this a mistake-free race, I could get a result here. But I started tempting fate. As you now join us a couple laps ahead, the mistakes really started to creep in for me, as somehow P3 bottled it. I moved up into podium places, and there you can see that's the first sign of it. Running wide onto the grass, not being able to maintain my focus for the whole time, and making silly little mistakes, ultimately was going to cost me. Is here, example number 1, overshoot my braking point, lose P3 again to the guy that spun out the lap earlier. And it was at this point I realised that the fuel itself wasn't going to last the whole race. I was unaware that there was pit stops in this race, as in the touring car class there are no pit stops to do with fuel, because there's no fuel depletion and tyre wear isn't too bad and can last the race. So as a result, I committed to a zero stop strategy because I still didn't know at this point if anybody pitted or ever you'd like to pit, and so I didn't want to risk it. So I ended up dropping to a lesser power mode, which ultimately cost me 2 places here, as they both knew full well that you could run flat out, pit, refueling, run flat out again. But I was unaware of this, so at this point I was still trying to make my fuel last, which unfortunately resulted in me tumbling down the grid. And whilst doing so, whilst trying to calculate these fuel calculations to work out how many percent I could use each lap, I was unfortunately started to massively lose concentration. As you can see here, same corner again, same place, misjudged my braking point, run wide yet again, just keep it out of the wall to avoid any more damage, and lose another place back down into P6. And this recurring theme of constantly bottling it is running massively throughout both leagues I'm in at the minute, both the touring car and the GT Sport. But hopefully, with time, that'll come. I'm currently new to this everything, and so hopefully, with time, my confidence will grow and I'll be able to avoid any incidents. As you can see here, at least one positive was my fuel calculation was spot on, as I had 1% of fuel remaining as I crossed the line. Unfortunately in P8, so Not a great race considering there were times where I was P3, but what can you do? I did my best. Unfortunately today it wasn't good enough. But one positive from it is I was able to drive the new car, get some good practice, which you can see with the help of our sponsors, Grease Monkey. We're able to provide a really nice livery for us, and ultimately I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Anyway guys, that's everything for today. I really hope you did enjoy this video. I know it's a bit of a short one, but unfortunately not too much happened in this race. Probably a large part down to the fact that I wasn't very confident about what was going on, so ultimately didn't have my best race. I wanted to cut a lot of it out because a lot of it was just me lapping around on my own. But I promise the next video will be better. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below what you'd like to see more from in these videos, or any future videos you'd like to see not to do with league racing. That would be massively appreciated. Thank you very much, stay safe and have a great day.